Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, widely known as SLIM, is the apex body for marketers in Sri Lanka that we all know. Founded in 1970 and incorporated by an Act of Parliament in 1980, SLIM is recognized as the national body for marketing and operates as a non-profit organization. SLIM is dedicated to uplifting the marketing profession through quality education and nationally recognized events and initiatives guided by an experienced council of management and executive committee. It is a pleasure to welcome you all to the Diploma in Digital Marketing Intake 1 Open Day on this 26th of April 2026. To commence today's proceedings, it is my pleasure to invite our first speaker for the morning. He serves as a senior manager, Slim Business School, playing a key role in driving the academic and strategic growth of the institution. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Sadeepa Hirosh Abenayaka for the welcome speech. Over to you, Mr. Sadeepa.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And good morning, everyone, again. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome all of you to the Diploma in Digital Marketing Open Day organized by Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. First and foremost, it is my privilege to warmly welcome and extend our sincere appreciation to our keynote speaker, Mr. Rohan Perera, Senior Manager, Digital Media, uh, Nestle Digital Lead. Sir, we truly appreciate you taking your time with your busy schedules to be with us today. Your presence adds immense value to this session, and we are confident that your industry insights will greatly inspire and guide all our participants who aspire to build successful careers in digital marketing. Thank you once again for being here with us. Next, it is my pleasure to welcome our senior lecturer, Mr. Shanaka Ratnayaka, who plays a pivotal role in delivering this program and shaping the knowledge and competencies of our students. We look forward to we look forward to your valuable insights, guidance during today's session. At this point, I would also like to respectfully acknowledge the esteemed leadership and the management of SLIM and the people who are behind organizing this open day. Our President, Mr. Perera, Vice President Education and Research, Mr. Mantika Ranasinghe, and all the members of Council of Management and the Executive Committee of SLIM, our CEO, Mr. Chamil Vikramasinghe, General Manager, Sales and Marketing, Ms. Mihirini Fonseca, AGM Central Operations, Ms. Indika Herath, Manager Southern Operations, Mr. Lahiru Rasantha, Head of Marketing, Mr. Tivanta Vikramaratna, Manager Business Development Kandy, Slim Kandy Campus, Mr. Namit Kalinga, Assistant Manager Business Development from Colombo, Mr. Nasli, Assistant Manager Business Development from Slim Southern Campus, Ms. Pavani Hansika, Senior Executive Business School Colombo, who will be the main coordinator for Diploma in Digital Marketing for Colombo students, Ms. Mudita Kandambi, and Brand Executive, Ms. Ujali Sankula. Not only that, I would also like to uh, acknowledge all our SLIM staff members. Last but not least, I would like to also welcome all the students, participants, and all the digital marketing enthusiasts who have joined for this session today. Today's session is designed to give you all a clear understanding of how this program can help you to build a strong foundation and a future ready career in digital marketing. And also, I would like to take you through a small presentation to give you all an idea about what SIM is. Let me share my screen. As our MC mentioned, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is the national body for marketing in Sri Lanka, which was established in 1970 and then it was incorporated by an act of parliament in 1980. Our vision is to lead the nation's efforts towards economic prosperity, and our mission is to establish marketing as the driving force which enhances business and national value. Slim has three main business schools, Colombo, Kandy, and Matara, and also we do have accredited study centers across the island, over 20. Uh, and also we do have different affiliations such as CIM, Asia Marketing Federation, Chartered Management Institute UK, and also different affiliations with research institutions such as Emerald Publishing and South Asian Journal, even with Credly. And also we do have alliances with Asia Marketing Federation, Organization of Professional Association of Sri Lanka, the National Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Sri Lanka, Employees Federation of Ceylon. Likewise, there are six main pillars of SLIM. Those six pillars are education, training, membership, events, sustainability, and research. Education is our main arm where we deliver different programs starting from certificate level programs to diploma, postgraduate, masters and specialized programs and also status qualifications. When it comes to trainings, we do customized corporate trainings, customized educational programs, public workshops from our training arm. And also we do have a membership arm where uh, we offer membership to marketing professionals across the country. So once you enroll as a student, you will automatically become a student member. Once you complete your qualification and with your experience, you can upgrade your membership as well. And also, SLIM is the national body who organizes six major national events to recognize and reward different personalities and brands in the country related to the marketing and advertising domain. Uh, some of them are National Sales Awards, Slim Brand Excellence, FE Awards, People's Awards, which everyone has heard of, and also Slim's Meda to recognize SMEs and also Slim Digis, which is relevant to the program that we are planning to talk about today. And also we do have a sustainability arm where we do different sustainability initiatives such as leading Leo Liyaka Mahima to empower women in Sri Lanka and to enhance and uplift marketing knowledge in rural areas. We have Gamata Marketing, which is another initiative. And also we do have affiliations with entrepreneurship clubs in schools across the country. And also we do have a research arm where we provide research solutions to corporate and government institutions. Okay, so that's about SLIM. And once again, I would like to welcome and thank each and every one of you for being here today. So have a wonderful session. I would like to hand over the session again to our MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vinayaka. It is now my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today's session. Our speaker is a digital media professional and data scientist currently leading digital strategy and execution for Nestle brands at Ogilvy, Sri Lanka. With a master's degree in data science, graduating with distinction and being recognized on the dean's list, he brings a unique blend of analytics, business understanding, and real-world marketing expertise. His work focuses on understanding consumer behavior, improving campaign performance, and using data to support smarter marketing decisions. He is also deeply interested in how AI is shaping the future of digital marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Rohan Perera. Sir, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hope I'm audible. And
Yes.
very good morning to everyone. And thank you for so much for your time. And basically, I just wanted to actually take a little time to take you through about the journey you're going to endeavor, right? So I think in my work experience for 15 years, I've been in the media sector and I have looked at we call TV advertising, and then I changed my career into digital. And to be really honest, with my experience, and the 15 years of industry, working with a lot of brands, I can confidently say that digital marketing is the future, right? So in the upcoming session, I just will have a few slides to kind of take you through some of the industry and how the digital marketing is shaping in the future and how the integration of AI also comes into play. So it's a very interesting and very beautiful journey, right? I would say in my career also, I've seen how even the first content we created at that time in digital came into play. And back in the day, we didn't even have, running ads. So we used to create content and upload it and hope it'll, get some good organic traction. But now it's more of, optimizing performance media, you name it. And I'm sure each one of you who are in different principles from design to, performance, anything what you're in, it'll be helpful. And I feel that you have selected the right industry. Right. So I will quickly share my screen and start this presentation. Right. So, I'm going to talk about the global side of the role of digital marketing in today's world, right? What we need to understand is digital marketing is something that is ever evolving day by day. Why I say that is digital marketing has infused AI in a very huge way, right? So when you take, for an example, Instagram or any social media platform you use, right? You know that it's built on AI. Why I say that is because if you take TikTok for an example, it's a recommendation engine. You go on TikTok, first thing you open, there'll be some content that will be shown to you. So that is a recommendation. How do they recommend you content? So we go on Facebook, all that we don't know what we're going to watch, but these platforms are going to show us content what we may think we like. But in order to decide that, there's a lot of AI, machine learning, deep learning, etc., that goes behind, right? So bottom line is globally digital marketing is no longer growing. What I mean by that is it has already taken over. So there's no about it's growing and growing. It has already grown, right? And I feel and I confidently can say you have selected the correct career path and correct program, right? Because I believe that Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing is the governing body in marketing in Sri Lanka. And the credibility and the learning you will get is itself a smart choice. So you have made the right decision and you have made that smart choice. So like I said, this is one of the fastest growing industries in the world, right? Not just in Sri Lanka, globally, and there's no doubt about that. But here's the real part. When you complete this program, that's when you when everything changes, right? Because you're not just going to understand about digital marketing. You will need to know and you will learn how to use it. Um, you will not just learn how to do reach people, how to target ads, but to really make a business impact, right? So the whole idea is how you're going to make a business impact for your brand or the work you do. So I believe that this program will equip you with what you require for today's world. And I believe solely the fact that knowledge is something very important, and gaining that knowledge and implementing it practically is going to be your future. So then I will take you through about a small idea about what globally things are happening, right? This is in terms of scale, right? Um, Digital ad spend, right, has more than doubled in 2019, right? Just imagine 2019, right? That's like 5 years ago or 6 years. That's double, right? In terms of spend for digital advertising. And it's continuing year on year. So this chart you see is showing how the progressional continuation of it is. Next year, this year, it is definitely going to grow. So you are in the right industry and there is huge potential in this field of work, right? So digital actually is now responsible for majority of advertising growth globally, right? And I read in even the global GDP, 1%, over 1%, right? If you round it off, roughly around 1% contributes to the global GDP. That's huge, right? As the time goes, the world itself will also has moved online, right? Why I say that is in today's context, over 6 billion people are using the internet. 6 billion, right? Globally. And that is out of nearly 3 out of 4 people on this planet are on the internet. So think about it, right? Let that sink in where 3 out of 4 people in the whole world are on the internet. So remember that this is not just people, this is your audience. You may venture into different verticals. It may be paid media performance, content creator, strategy, what may it be, right? You will have a specific role you will have to pay, right? So your audience is online. And because of that, we see that companies are shifting their money from like traditional and different other media like TV, print to digital now. So in Sri Lanka also, we see that growth. So there is definitely huge requirement and huge potential in Sri Lanka as well for this industry itself. Today, over 70% marketing budgets actually are allocated on digitally in a global perspective, right? So this is just to give you an idea of how globally things are reshaping. So this is how big digital advertising is currently. So taking that into consideration, I wanted to kind of slightly give you a perspective of how the Sri Lankan landscape is looking like, right? Um, so as you all know, we have compared in last year data in the year 2025. At the end, we had 21.7 million population, right? And I'm not going to focus on this TV radio because what relevant is the internet penetration. So as of February 2025, the internet penetration is 57%, right? So just think about it from the total Sri Lankan population, and it's growing rapidly. So the active internet users are 12.4, and active social media, this 8.2 also has increased close to 10 million now. So what we're trying to say is, bottom line, in Sri Lanka, more than half of the population are there's a penetration when it comes to the internet. Um, so now digital also is a responsible majority of advertising growth in Sri Lanka, right? And one of the things is that we see that at the bottom, you see how spends, right? In Sri Lanka, where you see there's a gradual but slight decline of TV. But at the same time, you have huge increase that is happening in digital, right? So it's a very interesting time to see how the Sri Lankan market is also reshaping and adapting digital approach in marketing and communication, right? Um, and um, and I'm sure every one of you here is part of that number, right? And I believe that if I ask each one of you how much time you spend on watching TV or how much time you spend time on digital or social platforms, you will know the answer, right? It could be from Facebook, Instagram to WhatsApp, YouTube, uh, that whole ecosystem. You are just on you spend a lot of time. Even WhatsApp, it's also digital. Whether it's watching videos, even chatting on WhatsApp, scrolling on TikTok, even shopping, we are using so much of our time on digital. So these numbers speak for itself. And then I will want to talk about something very important about attention, right? In this fragmented digital landscape, right, all of you will play a huge role, right, in capturing attention. Why I mean by that is, right, um, I'm sure um, one of you or each one of you would have gone on social media platform today, right? Like that's very common. It could be Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. So you're scrolling, watching, chatting, everything. Um, so if I may ask something, right? Just think about it. Um, if I ask someone, what is the last ad you saw on your social media platform today, I can have with utmost certainty that most of you might not even remember what you saw today, right? So, and most of you actually can't, but there'll be some, but then again, majority might not know. And it's not purely because you weren't paying attention, right? It's because you actually saw so many and you seem it just that's what I meant by that fragmented aspect where you have a lot of people using different platforms, seeing different types of content, seeing different kind of ads, and some of these ads are might not be the most effective, right? um, Even I feel you would have gone through hundreds of ads yesterday. So brands spend a lot of money to reach you, right, with their ads, but some they fail completely. But a few of them will stand out. But although you watch them, you might not recall them. So that is where you play a huge role in how you're going to do that. So in digital marketing, attention is very key, right? So gone are the days we put a campaign, we put a ad, or we put a some form of static post, and we run an ad, and we say, this reach this people. But where you can really make a difference is how you're going to captivate and grab a person's attention. So the difference between the ad you forgot and the one you remember, that's what is digital marketing, right? So digital marketing is not just about creating really nice looking ad and coming up with a strategy that sounds nice or running a campaign that sounds nice, right? But actually how much impact you can make. So in this program, you will learn all your skills and things like that. But remember how every action you take, think how you're going to grab the attention, right? So that is, in my opinion, what digital marketing is. So if you can achieve this, you have pretty much, covered yourself with the skills and actually understanding the science behind digital marketing, right? So gone are the days where people are just putting posts and ads. They actually want to make a business impact. So always remember that it is important that you retain and grab attention of your consumers. Right. So here I wanted to slightly spend a little time about AI, right? So I'm also specialized in different parts of AI, specifically into machine learning. But you may wonder, what does AI and digital marketing have to do? For me, I spent a lot of time in media, and I also wanted to come to a uh, career path that's going to be interesting. One of the things is it has to be fun, right? In life, all of us love to have fun, right? There are things, but when it comes to work, sometimes you might not do what you love. But for me, I actually follow a career path that I love to do, right? And I spent a lot of time in media because I felt that was the most exciting area in this career. Like if you take being in the banking or any other areas, I felt that might not be the place for me, right? But I realized that media is a very exciting, very dynamic area, and then realized that digital media or marketing plays an even more crucial role, and the way things are heading in the future are far more interesting than now, right? So one of the areas is the AI aspect of things, right? Um, so I want to talk about a small story, right? So there was this situation that happened in somewhere between 1970s, right? One of the big universities in the UK, Actually, when the calculators were coming into play, right? Those normal calculators, was when it was first introduced, some universities actually banned them, right? And they said, like, these calculators are going to, if they're going to use them, they'll come lazy, they'll stop thinking, they'll get worse at math, right? And it was a like a valid concern, but considering that it sounds very familiar in the current context, which is AI. So a lot of people are telling, including some of my colleagues also, that they don't want to use AI because they feel that they are just going to feel a little lazy, or they're not going to be thinking, right? But today we are saying the same exact thing about AI also, about this calculator scenario, right? But I feel that you shouldn't be dependent on it, right? But the reality is that the problem was never anything to do with the automation side of things, right? Not the real challenge, I think, as digital marketers is you also need to understand and consider is um, not how to use it, right? It's actually to see how efficiently you will be able to craft things, right? Why I say that is AI is not just a tool, it's actually changing how marketing works. So I do certain lectures in AI in digital marketing also. There, I also have seen, for an instance, how personalization in this whole ecosystem of digital marketing is playing a huge role. So therefore, you need to scale. I'll take a basic example. Um, Basically, let's say you wanted to do a campaign and you're designing some visuals, right? Back in the day, a designer would take a little while, but nowadays designers are using AI tools to um, develop more at scale, right? Because at the same time, consumers are also watching or reacting to content in different ways. The way I would like my content is different to what you would like. So personalization plays a huge role, right? So therefore, AI is integrated heavily, heavily in digital marketing. So you will have to adapt and use AI in all your roles. It could be design, it could be, strategy, everything. So why I emphasize a lot on AI is the fact that number one, prediction. So AI predicts what your customer or consumer would want. So you will be able to get a lot of answers through AI addressing this prediction aspect of things. Then efficiency. So efficiency, I spoke about scalability. Back in the day, if we have to come up with some idea or things like that, or a caption, you'll take a lot of time. But now within seconds, you will get even ad copies, visual, all that. But your job is not to take what the output of the AI large language model gives you, but to evaluate, because you will be the person who would know the brand and your business objective. So you will use AI as a support system or a tool to help you work efficiently, right? Another thing, interesting fact is digital marketers, right? Specifically marketing, 88% are already using AI, right? And it's not a trend. This is the current fact in reality. So don't fall behind by not using AI, but you have to be very clever and smart about it. And I'm going to talk about transformation, right? Transformation also, where AI has incorporated themselves into a lot of areas, not just what I spoke of, but even search, right? Even Google search, now you get a Google answer box. So there's a new avenue of digital transformation that has come into play called GEO, gone are the days of search engine optimization, right? Now you have GEO, generative engine optimization. So that is where, how are you going to optimize your content on your website to be picked up by a large language model. So, like I said, because of AI and digital marketing is getting new avenues. So, in the future, you might see job roles that are not there right now, right? So, always remember that. So, scale is another area. So I feel that one marketer with the right AI tools and knows how to use it will even can do far more work than others. So there's this thing where I always say it's about how something about working hard and working smart. AI, if we like it or not, is something that exists in our day-to-day life, right? If you don't use it, you might not reap the best benefits out of it. So remember that calculator, right? This is, I'm talking about the 1970s. Just imagine if they banned the calculator in universities. Do you think we would have had a development or rapid growth in what we do by now? So remember, like the calculator, AI is also there to help you, right? So always use AI tools and work smart, and where you can do a lot more other things rather than wasting time on small things. Final point, not human. AI only can perform tasks, it cannot think. So remember that AI is your large language image generation, whatever it is, right? Always AI spends a lot of time um, in developing and giving you outputs, but you are the sole custodian of deciding what is right and what is wrong and critically evaluating what you should do. Whatever you put out just because of AI, it's still your responsibility. So don't think whatever the AI gives you is always the right answer. Um, so, and this is not something coming in the future, right? All of these aspects I've seen are happening right now. So remember that there's so much changing as we speak, and in the future, there might be so much more, right? So whether you like it or not, AI is coming for digital marketers. It's coming for digital marketers who don't know how to use it, right? So always try to use these tools to really reap the benefits. Um, and um, right. So, like I said, the future is here. Um, Remember to use it, or else you will be outdated. Um, Then I'm going to just briefly touch upon the future outlook, right? One of the areas I have seen is not long ago, uh, there were all these companies needed to needed a digital marketing agency, right? So I come from a company called Ogilvy. Ogilvy is also one of the biggest and the largest WPP group, and we handle some of the biggest portfolios globally as well in Sri Lanka. And companies really depended on agencies, right? So they would go to an agency. But now we see that there is a slight shift, right? But some of these businesses, they have to retain because of the expertise and everything. But I have seen that in other markets where companies are now trying to have in-house digital marketing. So gone are the days in digital marketing, you would be limited to a agency kind of job role. But now in-house digital marketing is huge. So even in Sri Lanka, there was so much of openings, and all the multinationals, I remember, have started and have recruited heads for digital marketing in-house that they are heading. But at the same time, they work with agencies and things like that. But it's so important that there is a new uh, role that has come into companies. So long time ago, there was a media manager who would handle TV, radio, but there is someone who is specialized in digital, and that is a specific role. So remember that you will have these kind of roles that will come into play as well. Um, so I other parties there, I have seen that they're building their own digital teams, including the fintech, like financial institutes, banks, even hospitals, right? Hotels are doing it so much to run everything in-house. Um, and so what I can say is that the skill set from you is required in a lot of areas. So therefore, remember, it's the world is yours, as they say, and you will need to go and grab it, right? So in 2025, industries like manufacturing, tech, financial services, right? Highest demand was for digital marketing roles because all those industries are performance or conversion driven. So digital plays a very good role compared to any other media that you can actually track, and you have data signals and attribution to see how things are like the conversion. So if you advertise, how it'll purchase from an e-commerce like that. So all these businesses have realized that. So these skills are very essential, right? Um, then growing market demand, like I mentioned, rising job opportunities in different areas. And one of the key things is the specialized skill sets. So having a very specialized skill set is going to give you the upper hand, right? Um, um, they don't like companies now when it comes to digital marketing, they don't want someone who knows bit of everything, right? They want specialists. So when you are a specialist in a vertical in digital marketing, you are used for that. So always remember to have that skill set and really improve it, right? So for an example, a person who understands social media and may understand digital media or paid ads, programmatic, those skills is going to be very unique, right? And when it comes to AI, I always talk about AI is because it's very important, right? And AI comes into this picture where the opportunity is actually growing and not shrinking, right? A lot of people think that because of AI, jobs are going to lose out, but remember that those jobs are all these repetitive jobs. But in digital marketing, there aren't a lot of repetitive jobs, right? So remember, data analysts, where you analyze the campaigns, all those things you need people to do it. So remember, in the digital marketing spectrum, in the future, there'll be a lot of new opportunities that have never been seen today will come, right? And also remember that it's always performance led. Everything what you spend on digital marketing can be traced back. So if you spend $1,000, you would know you will reach this much. If you run $1,000 and if you run a return on ad spend campaign, you would know for this 1,000, I'm going to get this much of sales. So everything is performance led. So that is one of the most important aspects. And finally, I wanted to tell you a little story about something that happened to me last night, actually, right? Just yesterday, like I said, my father-in-law actually came over for dinner, and we were talking about work and things like that. And he's retired, so he has been working for 40 years in corporate communication and things like that, right? So he has a lot of experience in that area. So we were just discussing, and he asked me something very interesting that really caught my attention. So he asked me, in digital marketing in Sri Lanka, is there someone everyone knows, a person who stands out, like a veterinarian or a legend? So in my father's time, there were these kind of people in his industry. So he asked me, for digital, is there someone? And I was actually thinking, and I realized something. The industry is still widely open. And I was thinking of a little longer that whole conversation while having dinner. Also, I was wondering, is there actually someone? Globally, of course, there are a lot of people who come into my mind. But in Sri Lanka, I felt there's still no one who have really made that impact. So what I'm trying to say is that um, there is opportunity for you, right? So um, if there is no one like that who are in the market, right, that shows that there's so much potential for you, right? Back in the day, if you take other industries, there are known people in telecommunication. If you ask who is that person, there are names. Likewise, there are for digital, it's yet. So I believe that all of you are starting your career and journey in digital marketing, and I feel that you and one of you can make that impact, right? There is so much opportunity. There is still room to build something and to stand out. And most importantly, to make a name for yourself, right? It doesn't matter what area, like I said, paid media, creative, whatever it is, or strategy. Whatever you choose, whatever career path you do in digital marketing, whichever vertical, what I want to say is there is still space to make your mark. So I wanted to thank you and wish you all the very best for your future work. And thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful and forward thinking session. Next, we move on to the lecturer's message. Our speaker is an experienced digital marketing professional currently serving as Assistant Vice President, Digital Banking and Marketing at Nations Trust Bank PLC. He is also a senior lecturer and examiner at SLIM and an ex-co member of the Digital Marketing Association of Sri Lanka. With extensive experience spanning digital media, performance marketing, analytics, and social media strategy across leading organizations, he brings valuable industry and academic insight into the world of digital marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Shanaka Ratnayaka. Sir, over to you.
Yeah. Hi, thank you, Mona. Good morning, all.
Yes,
I hope you guys can see the screen.
yes,
Yeah, okay,
perfectly.
thanks. Okay, so welcome everybody who's part of the open day session, and thank you, Rohan, for that insightful updates, and especially on how AI is going to make a big impact. And I think just a couple of days ago, UAE announced AI enabled government operations. So a lot of things are going to happen. The dynamics of how things happen work is going to change. So great. Thank you, Rohan, for bringing that up as well. And yeah, so welcome everybody who's again part of the open day. So this is about the diploma in digital marketing. So it's a bit of a serious affair because you're talking about a diploma program. And let me put it this way. You might wonder why I would say this at the start and at the open day, but let me start off with something like there is not something separate or in isolation or exclusive called digital marketing, right? So you might wonder why this guy, comes to the open day session for a diploma in digital marketing at Slim and then says there's nothing called digital marketing right now. Well, that's okay to think like that. You will definitely be convinced and you'll understand why I would say this at the end of the program because what happens right now is you're doing marketing in a digital world, right? So that's exactly what you're going to do. So within this program, what you're going to learn is how can we incorporate the digital technologies, capabilities, platforms like social media channels, AI tools, all of them into what we do as marketing, right? That's what everything ends up to. So what you're doing is you're doing marketing in a digital world. For that to be done within this program, you're going to get yourself a set of skills that will help you to drive your marketing objectives in this digital world. So you will actually understand why I said there is nothing called digital marketing anymore. But what happens is there is marketing in a digital world. Like there is banking in a digital world, right? Like there is entertainment in the digital world. There is transportation in a digital world. So you're talking about platforms like Uber, Pick Me, Book My Shows, everything, and platforms like Netflix, YouTube. That's for entertainment. So all that is happening in the digital world. Likewise, the marketing also has changed because your consumers are living in that digital world, right? So that's why I want to start things off. And it all boils down to these three things, right? So what essentially what you're going to learn is how before we getting into execution, because it's very easy for anybody to start a Facebook page now, right? So not like back in the day when we started, you have time, there is time required to create the cover photos, you have to think about page descriptions, the tagging, the profile pictures for the page, and a couple of content ideas, and then actually creating a Facebook page took some effort. It took some effort, right? But now with the availability of AI tools and platforms like Meta making the Facebook platform or the creation of a Facebook page and creating an ad account even more easy, you can do that within 15 minutes, I would say, right? So you technically make the mistake of bypassing certain important things, right? So what you see on this screen is, right, what happens when you bypass things, because digital is so easy to create, or the content in digital platforms is so easy to create, you straight away think about the communications part, right? What I want to tell you is, taking a couple of, go back to the previous slide, starting off with understanding the problem, which is the diagnosis, and then crafting the strategy, right? Strategy is nothing more, nothing less than listing out the things that you can do, and then taking off the things that you're not going to do, not able to do, not suitable to do. And then you're left with one or two things. Well, that is your strategy, right? And then in terms of marketing, utilizing the marketing mix, right? In simple terms, the product, price, place, and promotion, the 4 Ps, I would say, to execute your strategy, right? That is how things should be done. Whereas now, because digital is so easy, as in the content on digital is so easy to create, you skip these two, there is no diagnosis, there is no strategy. Let's straight away get into a comms, start a Facebook page, do the communications, and then let's get on with life, right? So what essentially is going to happen within this program is the first two modules, right? So that is where your attendance, the participation for the program is very important, because the first two modules of the program, because we've done a revamp for the syllabus for this program couple of years ago, right? And the first two modules, I would say, is where you get the hang of the strategy, right? How a well-crafted strategy is important, because the execution, again, with things, platforms like AI becoming so accessible, the execution becomes very, very easy. And because of that easiness and the convenience, you might be uh, getting, carried away with the content component and the executional component. You might miss out on diagnosing or actually understanding what the problem is, and then based on that, creating a solid strategy. You might skip all those two important steps and then straight away get into the communication. So this program, the first two modules, I would say, will take you through a comprehensive overview of how a strategy should be created, and then how the strategy should be aligned or executed within different verticals of digital marketing, from social media to paid advertising to SEO and GEO, like Rohan mentioned, and content marketing, influencer marketing, in-app mobile marketing, email marketing, websites, everything. So those are simply your channels of execution, right? And before that, a strategy should be drafted. So very important. The first two modules in this program will take you through on how to manage that strategy, how to understand and how to prepare a solid strategy. Okay, so with that, let me move on to one of the most important and most discussed, and I would also uh, something that is also making everybody confused, right? Making everybody confused as well, because there's so much of data that is available out there, and that is why the Economics magazine said data is the most valuable resource in the world, right? So it's technically, data is the new oil, right? That's what everybody is fighting for. And then the large organizations like Google, Facebook, everybody is owning a bigger chunk of that, right? So data is the most valuable resource in the current context, which equates data to be the new oil, I would say. With that same anecdote, right? With that same principle, just like oil, right? How do you get your petrol, diesel? It comes out of crude oil, right? So the oil or the crude oil has to be refined, right? Refined at different temperatures so that it gives you an output which will be used for different purposes. So with that going in the same direction, right? So data is the new oil. Yes, there is no doubt about it. It's the most valuable resource out there. Just like oil, right? data is only good as how good it is refined, right? How well it is refined and for what purpose it is used. It's just like getting, trying to put diesel into a petrol car, right? So the data is refined, but if you're not using it for the right purpose, you can't, it's like you're using diesel into a petrol car, right? So I hope you get the idea. So these are some of the things that we will be discussing in detail, because the interesting part is, especially in the modules where you're going to go through Google Analytics, GFO, and then the tagging mechanisms. How do you extract data, right? You will understand why, how good, how important, right, it is to refine the data, and also very importantly, understand for what purposes it should be used, because you might get confused, you might make incorrect decisions if you're not getting, if you're not, if you do not understand how to refine data and also for what purpose it should be used. So modules like Google Analytics and Advanced Google Analytics in this program will help you to understand that, because all the digital channels that I mentioned before, from social media to web to email marketing to mobile marketing, influencer, content marketing, everything, every touch point that you will use in the digital space will leave bits and pieces of information. Let's say it's like leaving breadcrumbs, right? So there will be bits and pieces of information. So you have to first look at how can we extract all that information, even with a content marketing, even with an influencer marketing campaign, you still can gather data points, right? You still can gather data points. There are ways of incorporating data points into uh, even an influencer campaign so that you can extract them. So when because if you take a website, it's very easy. You create your Google Analytics and set it up. It will start feeding information. So using data or extracting data from a content marketing or influencer marketing would not be that simple, but it's still possible. So within this program, you'll also be able to understand how can you extract those kind of data from different channels or executions, like even influencer and content marketing activities. Then how can that data be refined, and then how can it be used to optimize and better and get a better return on the investment that you have allocated, right? So those are the kind of things that you're going to go through the program, not just the execution, uh, because that is technically not the most important thing now, right? The execution part has become very, very easy, again, thanks to AI tools and then platforms becoming more and more intuitive. Anybody can start using Google Ads, anybody can start using Facebook advertising, anybody can start using TikTok advertising, LinkedIn advertising. But how can you optimize it, get the best out of it, is questionable. That is why you have to go through, and then these kind of programs are structured so that you're taken through a curated approach. So in a proper format that you're able to understand and gather knowledge and use it in the practical day-to-day activities. So my request to all the students who are joining in and who are planning to join in as well, three things. These three things, keep this in mind, right? Number one, be curious, right? Be curious, because you, everybody who's going to be part of the program is going to spend a good 3 to 4 hours on a Sunday morning, which you could have easily utilized on, sleeping a couple of hours extra. So you're going to sacrifice about 3 to 4 hours of your Sunday morning for this program. So number one, be curious, right? Be curious. Come with an open mind. Be curious. Ask questions. Remember, in digital, like everything, don't worry about asking questions. Thinking whether is it a right question or a wrong question. There is no right or wrong question. If you have something which is not clear, please do escalate and ask, because the resource personnel that you're going to be meeting in this program, right, are well experienced from theory point of view as well as practical applications. They're coming in from different industries, from financial to agencies to travel industries to multiple areas. So they are industry experts who have had a lot of experience using digital marketing tools hands-on. So be curious, ask questions. And the last thing that you can do, right, to help yourself, please use search, right? Please use search. Use search because I know more than 95% of Sri Lankans use platforms like Google search. So using Google search is not a new thing for you. But what I'm telling you is whatever you hear, learn, be exposed for the first time, right, within these programs, make a note of it. Once the session is over, do a bit of search on it, right? Because self-study is very important. Only then you will find sources for that particular area. Let's say now Rohan spoke about GEO, that's right, generative engine optimization. That's the advanced or the current context of SEO, right? Because where your websites now has to be read and understood by bots, right? AI platforms and answer engines, so that the end user, when they're typing in, will see your brand, your solutions first, right? Or if not, your brand is going to be invisible. And being invisible in a digital world is not a great place to be in. So you heard about that concept today. Maybe that is the first time you heard about it. So please make a note of it. Once you're done with this open day session, do a bit of search on it, do some research, self-study. Then you'll find a lot of information, sources, platforms like Social Media Examiner, SEO related websites, which you can also subscribe, right? My advice is do the research, find credible sources, subscribe to them. Then you're going to be updating yourself with continuous information. So with that being done, right, you have some sort of information which is now new. And when you meet the resource personnel or when you join the session next week or the week after, talk about some of those points, right? Have a discussion around the session, right? Because the resource person also would help to, they'll also be encouraged because you're talking with new information there, right? Then you'll have a good healthy conversation, which will end of the day not just help you and the resource person, but it will help the whole batch together. So three things to remember: be curious, ask questions, and please use search, because self-study is very, very important. The program will take you through a structured flow, right? From start to beginning, from strategy to execution to everything. And you will also be working on a project from, I think, module 2 onwards till the final module is done. That's your individual project. So you have to be updated. So that is why I'm telling you again, be curious, ask questions, and please do search. So with that, thank everybody. Hoping to see everybody within the program, and because I'll be meeting you definitely within the first or the second module. So hoping to see everybody, and thank you for joining in. Happy learning, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. So we now move on to the program brief for the Diploma in Digital Marketing. To take us through the structure, content, and opportunities offered through this program, I invite Ms. Mudita Kandambi, Senior Executive, Slim Business School. Ms. Mudita Kandambi, over to you.
Hi, Meona. Thank you so much. First, I'll share my screen. Just a second. Okay, Meona, I think I'm audible and visible, right? My screen is visible,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
sure. Thank you so much. So, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Slim Business School, I would like to warmly welcome you again for the inauguration of Diploma in Digital Marketing program. So, this is the first intake of this year. So let me take you through some important details first. So first, let's talk about the program overview. So as you can see, this is a diploma program. It's a diploma in digital marketing, and the time duration is 8 months. So the delivery method is fully English medium, and as you guys already know, to start this program, you need to complete a few qualifications. Like, so if you have any other qualifications in digital marketing, like those who successfully complete a certificate in digital marketing program from Hereby Slim, or from a recognized institute, and if you have an MBA, MSc from a recognized university, or if you have any work experience, like for those who have at least 3 years minimum working experience in sales and marketing, in executive or managerial level capacity, can apply for this program. So once you register to the program, we are requiring some documents like scanned copies of your education certificates and national identity card copies. You will receive a Google link from the person who you register to the program. You had to fill it to get the Moodle access. If you are not filling that form, we are not be able to giving you the access to go to the recordings and the notes. So let me talk about this syllabus outline. As you can see, there are 8 modules in this program. Introduction to digital marketing, digital planning process, social media marketing and advertising, content marketing, conceptualizing web and app development, search engine optimization, digital campaign management, contemporary themes in digital. So as you can see, the assessment and evaluation structure to complete this program, you have 3 main assessment criteria. Those are individual assignment and presentation, group assignment and presentation, and 4 Google certifications. So for individual assignment, you guys have to complete an assignment. You have 6 months to complete that. So it contains 40%, and for the presentation, 60%, and overall weightage is 40. And for group assignment, we are allocating you guys into the groups from your registered center. Like if you are a student who registered under Slim Colombo, I'm the one who's coordinating you. So I'll divide you guys into the groups, and we'll share the relevant details when it comes to the group assignment. And if you're a person who registered in Kandy, or Matara, you will get those details from from your respective coordinators. And for Google certifications, it contains 20%. Those certifications and all the submission guidelines and details will be shared in due course. So let me talk about the grading system. As you can see, if you are a person who scores 75 or above, you are getting a distinction. And if it's 65 to 74, it's a merit pass. 50 to 64, we are considering it as a pass. And if it's less than 49, it's a fail. And about the class conduction, sessions are starting from 10th May 2026 onwards, from every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And these sessions are fully conducting via MS Teams, and all the session recordings and materials are uploaded into the Moodle on every Wednesday. And you will receive the Moodle access details after 31st of May. And as I mentioned earlier, you will receive, once you register to the program, you will receive a Google form link from your respective registered person, and fill it. Once you fill that, we will be sharing the Moodle access. And also session links are sending on every Thursday via email or WhatsApp community. So about the class guideline and ethics, this is the main thing. And as you can see, you have to maintain 80% of the attendance. And the most important thing is punctuality. Like classes are starting by 9. So be there by 9, and you will get a student ID once you register to the program. So you had to rename yourself with your student ID or else with your NIC, because we need to maintain and count your attendance. Also, if you can't attend, you can just drop me a text or like inform me via email mentioning the concern. So also, if you have any concerns, like if you can't find the Google, session link or whatever thing, you can contact me. And also, Please be kind enough to silent and mute the mobile devices when you are logging to the online classes. Sometimes you had to turn on the camera, and also when a lecturer asks any questions, you can just unmute and talk, or you can just use the chat box as well. And about the student communications, as I mentioned earlier, we are mainly sending communications through email or WhatsApp community. So after 31st of May, you will receive the Moodle access, and since your classes will start on 10th May, you will receive the session links and other details on Thursday, 8th May 2026. And also we are uploading those session recordings to OneDrive till the registration closing. And once you join to the WhatsApp community, I'm sharing all the details from there onwards. And also I'm requesting you guys to fill that Google form to give the Moodle access. And as you can see, also as I mentioned earlier, if you have anything to clarify or need to inform anything, like if you need to change your details in the system, like you have to change your email or a contact number, you can just inform us via email. And for the all communications, I'm kindly requesting you guys to follow this format, like clearly mention the subject, and in email body clearly mention what is the concern that you have and your badge, intake, your student ID, and everything, please. So in your study period here at Slim, if you have anything to clarify or if you need to need to know anything, you can just contact us mainly via email, or you can simply drop us a text. So student who registered under Slim Business School Colombo, you can contact me. I'm Mudita Khandambi, Senior Executive at Slim Business School. My email address is mudita.n@slim.ac.lk, and the contact number is 070-366-2177. And if you are a student who registered on the Slim Southern campus, you can contact Miss Pavani Hansika. She's the assistant manager of Slim Southern campus. Her email address is pavani.h@slim.ac.lk, and her contact number is 070-191-8077. And if you are a person who registered on the Slim Kandy campus, you may contact Miss Sachini Chamika Bandara. She's executive at Kandy campus. Her email address is chamika.p@slim.ac.lk, and her contact details are 070-326-4499. Also, kindly note that Slim Business Schools are closed on every Monday, and we are working on Tuesdays to Sundays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So once you successfully completed this program, you may award it at a glamorous ceremony. And finally, I wish you guys all the very best for your future studies and becoming a successful marketers in the world of marketing. And thank you very much and have a good day. So over to you, Meuna. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that clear and informative overview of the program. And as we come to the end of today's open day session, we hope you now have a clear understanding of what the Diploma in Digital Marketing offers and how it can shape your career in the digital marketing landscape. On behalf of Slim, I would like to thank all of you and all the distinguished guests for your time and for being with us in this morning. We look forward to welcoming you to the upcoming intake, and thank you. Have a wonderful day ahead.